Bills, let's not beat around the bush. You've had cybersecurity issues. You've had your Twitter account famously hacked by Tiga Tuari, but you haven't had any incidents since. What's happened?
No, I haven't, and that was I lost 10,000 plus followers that day when Tika Twari hacked into my Twitter account, but I don't have that problem anymore because I use NordVPN, and NordVPN has doubled down on keeping not just me but everybody safe with their new threat protection feature. Say goodbye to intrusive website ads and malware. Even if you download an infected file using NordVPN, the threat protection kicks in and deletes it before it even makes it onto your computer. So the cybersecurity on NordVPN is one of the highlights of this VPN. Not just to mention, you can see whatever sports you want from all around the world. You can watch your favorite anime. You don't have to go to Japan just to watch anime. You can do it from your home now using NordVPN. So I suggest to our listeners, we all need VPNs. We all use VPNs. Go to nordvpn.com/social distance. You'll get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 months free. And it's a completely risk-free as well, Jonesy. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Well, I'll tell you, one bloke who needs it, GB, with the amount of viruses he's been getting on his old lappy.
You know me, mate. I'm big on anime. So pretty stoked I don't have to keep flying to Japan for that.
Let's just run the intro and wing it like we always do and see what comes out of it.
Let's get ready to rumble! Front kick.
Just getting bored and dance move chat.
My radar's going pretty hard at the moment. I think we should.
Will you shut up, man?
That escalated quickly.
We're going to need to get some more qualified guests on this show, eh?
It's like the poverty podcast. I've got no furniture in my house. I'm moving apartments to tomorrow. Got to give the keys back to this place tomorrow. So I've moved all of my furniture last week to my new place. The only piece of furniture I've got in this house is a bed. So I'm just having to sit on a bed and like try to close every single door. Hopefully not get much of an echo. I was going to do it in the lounge on the floor, but it would be like, hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
How wild's
It's
an
gonna be
echo in an
empty
empty
space.
house?
Oh, it's insane. What a difference furniture makes.
Do you get emotional when you have to leave? Like, is there a part of you that sort of you're going to have to take that last glance back at the lounge?
I get
room and-
emotional. But the emotion is normally stress, frustration, anger, store back,
Guilt.
guilt. No, guilt. What's the guilt? Where's the guilt come from?
Oh, I got a lot of
Moving
guilt.
hangover.
That's my
Things you might
predominant
have done in the
emotion.
lounge room you regret.
I don't regret
That's
anything.
I would say like that's my predominant emotion. Just guilt.
Guilt.
You know? Guilt and shame.
You are
Yeah.
you're a heavy guilt-ridden carrier, eh?
I'm a terrible person.
Big shoulders though, strong shoulders.
Yeah. Strong back.
Yeah.
A lot of
Nah,
lot of deadlift.
I moved everything. We moved everything out last week to Andora. We're moving up there, up the hill for good. But it's like real hard at the moment because there's like this in between where Hannah and I are both trying to pack to go to like 4 places at once. So I've got like clothes that like try to take everything I could to Andorra, but leave enough clothes here to live for the week that we're here, tying up all the loose ends. But then I need to pack a bag to go to training camp in a couple of days' time. But then from training camp, I'm going to New Zealand, but then I've also got to have stuff in Andorra, and then Hannah's got the same, but she's going to America on Thursday. Then she's going to England. Then she's going to New Zealand. But we've got like nothing in one place. It sounds much easier than it is, but it's annoying.
You know what's funny about packing is it causes people so much anxiety, but there's not much stuff that if you forget, you can't just buy when you get somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like you forget your jocks. Oh, I'll just go down and get a 6-pack from the supermarket. You know?
It's
It
true.
makes me sound like, oh, I forgot my jocks. I'm going to go buy 6 beers. And that's how I'm going to deal with forgetting my undies.
And work out what I do with these having no jocks.
and then work out what I'm going to do with no undies on.
But it's true. Like, I mean, ultimately, you don't want to get, like, I don't want to go to New Zealand for 2 months and get off the plane with just my wallet and my passport and be like, right, I got to buy a whole new wardrobe. So, you try to take stuff if you can, ideally. But you're right that if you get there and you're like, fuck, I got no toothpaste. Well, you can buy that anywhere in the world.
I just run the credit card passport keys. That's actually the essentials. If you go, anything else is solvable. But on the empty house, we just moved out of we've just changed apartments as well. And like, we've moved 500 meters down the road. But it's like, just the memories, like walking out of there, like looking back over the shoulder, you're like, this place. you forget about it within 30 seconds.
Mm.
I mean, I've done a couple of circle backs just to like see the old neighbors, and I still go shopping in the old haunts in case I run into the people in the building and say hello.
The
But
old
like
na-
essentially, you attach far more emotion to these things at the time, and you think, oh, this is going to be a tough move, and then you don't give it a second thought.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is that you move. I mean, okay, maybe this is not really a general statement for everybody, but in our situation at least, like you move because you believe you're going to something that's a better option. Like you've made the choice to move, but it's still like there's all those memories, and I don't know, getting sentimental now. I don't really give a fuck. I just want to get out of here now. I've only got a bed in this fucking place.
Well, what
But we
made
had
you
it
hang on to the bed? Why don't you just rip the Band-Aid and cop the week early?
on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no,
yeah.
because no, actually, the reason the bed stayed is because the bed does stay. It's not our bed; it's the apartment's bed.
Ah,
It's the only piece of furniture I requested in this unfinished apartment when I moved into it 5 years ago, just a bed.
right.
So it actually stays here. So it's given us the
Why did
ability
you
to.
request just the bed?
Well, it was an unfinished apartment, so I can't just go. Can you finish it for me? Like, I don't know. Not really how it works, I guess. But I said, can you put a bed in? Because that's seems like a reasonable request. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like a
I
weird
think it's
request.
actually just good for you because you're just such a man of luxury. You know what I mean? Like, you just need all your stuff. You're a man of stuff. You're like a gadget orientated person, or like a thing, or it's good for strip your life down, make it simple. Realize
Well,
what
I
you need.
that microphone. That's come from the move.
Well,
Oh,
there's
I've inherited a lot of shit. A lot of shit
Yeah.
I don't want,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some useful stuff as well.
And the worst
I-
thing is
I-
you actually haven't even inherited it. You're just storing it for us.
I've got this town bike I've taken this town bike from Hannah and Sam, and it's an old look, and I'm pretty sure it was from I Gomez is the frame name on it, and I'm pretty sure that is that Basque rider like Ivan Gomez.
Mm.
that's
I
it.
think
If
it's
it
just
says I Gomez, I say
He might be an
you've done pretty
Argentinian
well.
footballer.
I think it's just a Spanish person who
Um,
speaks poor English. I Gomez. I
Gomez. No, here you go. Ivan Gomez is a 21-year-old cyclist born in 2002. So not him.
No, that bike's from the 70s probably.
Or there's a 16-year-old Ivan Gomez. Anyway, the thing about this bike is it's got a massive head tube and tiny wheels, and it's a town bike, and the gears skip. So I've been trying to do and the brakes are reverse. So I've been trying to practice wheelies, and I went down the other day. I was like, oh, this would be a great bike for doing wheelies. The balance points with the front wheel about 2 centimeters off the ground. I flipped straight off the back,
Oh,
and you can't use the back brake. So I was like, right, I'd try this another time coming up the hill. Same thing. Kick, gears, slip, straight over the front. Fucking hell, this bike's going to kill me.
Yeah, maybe stop doing wheelies.
The
Man, we had a bit of a move up, Jonesy. It was like, so we had, there's two options. You can either pay a removalist a couple of €1,000
what I
to
do.
go to Andorra, or you can do it yourself. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it myself. Like, who am I to think that I need someone to help me? And also, my main drive was saving money. So I rented this big ass van for like €315 or something. So I was like, I'm already like in the green. And then initially we thought we are going to have to do it in 2 runs, because like when you look around your apartment, you think, shit, there's a lot of crap in here. And then thankfully the van was big enough. We got it all in one. I was like, sweet, saved us having to go to Andorra, back down, back up again. Got up there. It was like full day, like loading the van up. Got up there. Got there at like 7:30 at night or something. I was like, we'll do the unload tomorrow morning. Let's get some dinner and a beer. Had some dinner and a beer. Went to bed. Woke up in the morning. I was like, right, fresh, like gonna unload the van now. The van's like parked on the street right in front of my door. Walked out.
And you're like, where's the van?
No, the van was there, but it was fucking buried in snow. It was just like
no.
a blizzard, like a blizzard.
I can't think of anything worse.
For like 72 hours, it just didn't stop snowing. It was when we got to Andorra, it was all grass in front of us. When we left, it was like 60 centimeters of snow on the ground. And I
Oh,
was so we're unloading this van like in like -6 and fucking pissing snow. Unloading the van. Finally got it done, and then we had like some old furniture in the place we're moving into that we're going to give to. We were giving the couch and the table to somebody. So I like got the couch and the table into the van that night, and then I was like, okay, in the morning I'll drive it down to where they live and give them this stuff. I came out in the morning. I'll still put a photo on socials maybe. The van was like completely buried in snow. But the worst thing was it was parked on the edge of the road because there's no other option. You couldn't put it in the underground car park; it's too big. So the snow plows were coming up like all night to clear the roads, and you can imagine where the snow goes. It just gets pushed
oh
against the
yeah,
van. So the more it snowed, the more snow just got pushed against the van, to the fact that it was like almost at the like driver's window of this like van. It was like a meter high, just wall against the van, and in front of the van as well. And I was like, fuck it. I couldn't get the van out, and we like live in a kind of secluded area. Thankfully, there's this random supermarket across the road that sold snow shovels. So like after 2 days of like lifting furniture, my shoulders are fucked. I haven't got good shoulders. I've busted them about 55 times in my career. So the shoulders aren't made for like carrying heavy stuff, let alone 2 hours of shoveling snow to get the fucking van out. Oh, it's a mission.
you should have done what Demers did. That famous move. What was it? 10 years ago when he said, "That's it. I'm just reducing all my stuff to a garbage bag."
Mm.
He must. I think he saw that movie Into the Wild. And it, like inspired him.
He went
And then
minimalist.
yeah, and then I remember checking in about 6 months later. I think he was miserable. I think he slowly started getting all his stuff back.
Actually, I lie. I lie to you. I tell a lie when I say the only piece of furniture we've got in this house is a bed, because there's actually 3 pieces of furniture. There's a bed, and then there's 2 like deck lounge chairs that are
Oh yeah,
that I was looking after for Dimmers 8 years ago when he decided to go
that's
minimalist,
right.
and they've been in my apartment ever since, and they're still
Yeah, because
fucking here.
it was like a run out sale. Remember, as soon as people got wind that he was just getting rid of all his gear, like all the fleas and flies come out. Just go,
Mm.
yeah, mate. What are you doing with that? You don't want that? Yeah, I'll take that.
Isn't this whole thing about it's like that Family Guy episode, you know, with the Japanese influencer, and it's like, does it bring you joy? And Lewis goes on the rampage and then gets rid of her whole life and gets rid of Peter, gets rid of everything because it doesn't bring her
Yeah,
joy.
yeah, exactly.
It's amazing the
I've always
stuff that
wondered
you
like how
keep though.
minimalist could you go? Because like, yeah, I like the idea. Like when we moved out, how much shit you just have, and like as a cyclist, 90. If I reckon I could go like backpack if I wasn't a cyclist, but as soon as you need to be a professional athlete, you need like we had to move a gym, like
Mm.
that's fucking heavy,
Yeah,
or like move a like 7 bikes or 8 bikes and all the shit, and you go, well, every bike comes with its own problems and another thing of this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, just fuck it, I'm just going to be a clutter hoarder, whatever.
But like the
I don't
reality
need
is,
gym.
you could like we were the same. Like going through it, we got a lot of stuff, found a lot of stuff that I've just kept for. Like I moved to Jerome in 2010 with a suitcase and a bike, and now I have a house full of stuff. But a lot of that stuff, you're just like, why did I keep this? But at a certain point in time, you thought you needed to. So we got rid of like all of that kind of stuff. You're like, stuff that I didn't even know I had in the cupboard. I didn't go, oh, shit, that. Oh, cool. I was like, okay, I haven't used
Yeah.
this for 8 years. Go. But like,
Where do you sit on what do you sit on this stuff? This is the bit where I get bogged down, is like the memorabilia. Like I was going through and I saw like a good example was the Bennett placard from the Tokyo Olympics, that they put on the front of the car. Yeah, it's quite cool. Like, yeah, I went to the Olympics. Good on you. Like, does anyone actually give a fuck about that? Well,
oh,
you know what I
keep
mean? It
that.
is cool.
That's man cave stuff, mate. When you're 60
Yeah,
and you're cracking a
I know.
coldie
Okay,
in
what
New
about
Zealand,
like ribbons from? Okay, here's a good example. Then I gave trying to give as much kit as I can to like these juniors. So I sent it back with Caitlin's parents back to New Zealand, and in there was like a bunch of these jerseys where I wore like the mountain jersey for a day in Tortolan last year.
no, I don't keep that.
Couldn't give. I accidentally got into it. I was going for a time bonus and ended up in it because Alaphilippe put his brakes on because he didn't want to wear it. So we were like sprinting for this time bonus, and then like he was like saw the mountain jersey just after it and just put the brakes on, and I crossed the line. I was like, fuck. So anyway, like I wore it for a day. Do I want that?
no,
No.
you don't want that. But I'd keep the Tokyo span of things.
Yeah, but it's the genre of like slightly significant, slightly, like memorabilia. Like, oh, my first, like,
Girona needs a
like
cycling museum, I reckon,
But
where
it shows.
people
Yeah,
that have
that
lived
would
there
be
can
quite a good.
donate, because it'd be fascinating, because you know how you go to these sports museums. I love walking past and going, "Oh shit, there's Mike Whitney's baggy green," you know,
Who
like
dares win?
random stuff that you just look at. And I used to love that. Girona would be a hot spot for that. Should
But it
start the
shows
first museum.
it shows the progression of your career as well, George, because like 15 years ago, you would have kept the King of the Mountains jersey that you wore for one day at Tour of Southland. You know,
Yeah,
you would
I've still got
'cause-
the King of. It's funny you say that. I've got the King of the Mountains jersey from Southland.
because at that point in your career that was big, and then you couldn't even imagine wearing the Tour de Lan King of the Mountains jersey for a day, because that's a pro race, top level race. You're racing against Alaphilippe, these guys, but your career progresses to a point where like that's not necessarily an achievement for you anymore, because you aspire to greater things, because you've done bigger things. It's like, but also like people like Hannah, she kept, and not just her, she's not in isolation here. I know a lot of pro bike riders that have kept every single race number from every race.
I've got that.
man.
I've got
I
every
haven't got
single
a
number.
single. I haven't got a single
Have ya?
number.
You got
Every
every
single number from every
Where do you
race I've ever
keep
done.
it?
From my first Rainbow Rage, I take them back to New Zealand every year, and I put them in a big case, with the idea being that when I retire, I'm going to make the wallpaper out of. I'm going to make the garage wallpaper out of numbers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think I've got one number I kept, and it was from maybe two numbers, both from the Olympics, and they're just still on my skin suits that I wore in the final.
What about your
or whatever.
last race?
I threw that away as soon as I got on the bus. I don't know. I just didn't keep any numbers.
Fucking see you later.
Yeah, close that fucking chapter.
Well, that's
No, I
7
just-
days in hell when he goes later tennis.
No, I don't know. I just didn't keep any numbers. I don't know. The only thing I did keep is I went through the other day or the other week all my kit. So I kept kit from every year, but I kept way more. So every year, every professional team I rode for, I had kit from it, but I had way too much of it. So I got rid of quite a fair bit of it, gave it away. But I kept like at least a set of kit from every year, every professional team I was in. That's the only thing I've kept, and a bike. I kept my training bike for my first year pro with Radio Shack, and the reason I kept that is because I never asked for it back, and I never offered it back. So that's the only.
We
bike
were
I've-
actually great benefactors of. So in Trek, we were both riding the same. I had like, after Radio Shack got merged with Leopold. It was Leopold, yeah. The like Andy Schleck, Fabian Cancellara chapter, they came into, and we were Radio Shack, and I started with Radio Shack with Sam. And then my first year pro, when Sam left, I went to this Radio Shack, Leopold Trek, and we were owned by a guy called Flavio Becker, and he was this
Wasn't he have to do that by?
Luxembourgish.
Yeah, it was a court enforced
Yeah,
thing
so
he had to do.
it was. Well, he started this. His whole thing was this energy drink that I actually saw around recently, called like B plus or something like this, or something.
Wasn't he the coffee as well?
It was a real. Oh, I don't know if he had coffee. I mean,
what was
this
it?
bloke had fingers in a lot of pies.
Mm.
But anyway, what happened was Johan Brunel was the director, and it was all little bit sort of suspect. And then halfway through the year, Brunel gets fired. The whole Lance thing comes out. The investigation formally launches, whatever. A lot of the guys just suddenly not allowed to go near cycling. So Johan's gone. What was the whole paying agent, the American paying agent was just, and Flavio took over this team.
Slipstream
And,
Sports
like,
or something.
No, it wasn't them.
No, that was
that's different.
Waters. Bloody.
Let's clear the air quickly. It wasn't them.
Delete that. Sorry. We don't do any research here. That could have ended up
I
in
know-
litigation.
I know who it is, but I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. So, Then anyway, something went tits up on that organization too, and Trek. But Flavio Becker owned all the bikes, and normally Trek would get all their bikes back at the end of the year, and Flavio had all the bikes, and he just went, "Fuck you, I'm not giving you your bikes back." And I had 4 bikes, and no one ever asked, and so I ended up with 4 bikes out of that.
Did you sell them?
No, I kept them. They were at home in my little hoarding
Wasn't
museum.
wasn't
my
Caitlin
first
using
bikes.
one for a long time?
Yeah,
was
Caitlin was
training
using
on one.
one, and then the 2 sick paint job ones are up on the shelf.
There's a funny story of, well, it's not funny. Linda McCartney team back in 2001 or something. They're racing at Tour Down Under, and Steve-O was the director there. And there was all murmurs that the team was going to fold and dodgy shit was going on and people weren't getting paid. And they had on their jersey, like, I think it was Jaguar or one of the big car brands. And they were going, yeah, we're going to get sponsored, all this sort of stuff. Turns out the bloke didn't even speak to Jaguar. He just slapped the branding on the jerseys and people weren't getting paid. So Steve-O got like a minivan filled with all their equipment, bikes, everything, and rang this guy whilst he was on the road, and he refused to cough up the money. So Steve just kept driving, and then started paying like people that owed money in bikes and kit, and like was the Robin Hood of the team to like make sure that they
team
got
was
something.
fuck up, eh?
Oh,
What was
big
the
time.
team called? Linda
It was
McCartney.
Linda McCartney, like it was Paul McCartney's
Isn't that Paul
missus.
McCartney's wife?
Yeah, she was doing
Yeah.
like vegan food and stuff. And then
You're
the
kidding me.
bloke who
Paul
was-
McCartney's wife started a cycling team.
Did you not know about
Yeah,
Linda
you
McCartney?
know about this.
What the fuck? Okay, go
Like
on.
Wiggo, and it was a massive team. Like Wiggo rode for them. It was like a Division 1
They
team.
met.
Back
They
in
all got
Pro
to
Tour.
meet Paul McCartney. Dave McKenzie was with him, and he said they went round to Paul McCartney's house for a few sangers and a cups of tea or whatever.
Couple of Cheerios.
Yeah.
Are you having a
And they
Yeah,
all
it
laugh?
was a
went tits
massive
up.
team. Craig Geter worked for them.
Yep.
Craig Geter was there, but it lasted like 3 months. It
Well,
was like
no,
Oh, really?
they
it
they
was
won a
like
stage of the
Pegasus.
Giro. But I think
Not
it was the
quite, like-
second year that it went tits up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Hey,
wasn't
I'll
quite
have
as
to
bad
Google
as
it.
Pegasus. Remember Pegasus cycling?
Oh, that was bad because that was just
Yeah.
before Green Edge, and
Yeah.
that's why we had a lot of riders that were burnt. And as soon as they heard that there was an Aussie starting a new team, they're like, hang on, we've been through this
Mate,
shit before.
that happened to me. That's exactly. So Shane rang me. I was a stagiaire with Radio Shack. I'd already signed, but there was an out because of the merger. And Shane Bannon rang me, and he's like, "Mate, come to this new team, Green Edge. This is 2011." And I'd just been talking to Clinton Avery, who had been part of the Pegasus debacle. And I went, "I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Joke's
Well,
on
that's
me.
how that's how like the first year in Radio Shack, the second year in Radio Shack was when Robbie Hunter and Robbie McEwen joined Radio Shack because they were in Pegasus.
That's
And
right.
that folded in like December or something.
Yep.
They went to team
Yep.
camp. They
Yep.
all went to team camp in the Gold Coast or something, eh?
That's
And
right.
then it folded before the Down Under.
Yeah.
And then there was
And all these
these
people
like
scrambling.
30 bike riders, like good
Swano was
bike
in there.
riders.
Imps.
Swano, Imps.
Yeah.
Because Imps ended up at NetApp or something after that, or MTN, I think, back
That's
in
right.
Africa.
Yeah.
And the
Man,
two
isn't it?
Robbies, Hunter and McEwen, came to Radio Shack. There's a lot of good bike riders there that got stung, eh?
Yeah.
I know why this Linda McCartney team might have gone tits up, boys. She died in 1998.
Was it his wife or his
Wow.
sister?
It was his wife.
Oh.
But she had her own vegan food
Yeah, it's his
brand.
wife. She died in 1998.
Linda McCartney.
This story's not
sausages.
adding up. What time? What?
Yeah. Oh well,
Linda
actually,
McCartney's
I don't
cycling
have
team.
I don't have the dates. It was definitely the
Well,
cycling team.
Yeah, Linda McCartney cycling team. Yeah, I'll get it
They
up
were
on
paid by
Google.
StreamYard Sports or something.
1998. The team began in 1998 with Linda McCartney Foods, maker of
Yeah,
vegetarian
well, she
food.
died in 1998. That's why the
company
team
was-
went tits up. She died in 1998.
Yeah, so it disbanded in 2001. So it actually ran for a few years.
Yeah, so I got my date right. I said 2001.
Yeah.
Max Scandry rode there. Matt Stevens,
Didn't
Bradley
they win a
Wiggins,
stage of
Charlie
Giro with Dave
Regalius,
McKenzie?
Dave McKenzie.
Yes. Dave
He
McKenzie
won
was
it.
in a breakaway, run solo.
Yeah, he won the Giro. I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah. 2000.
Maybe
in
it was founded
2012.
in her honor.
In
I think it
2012,
was
a British
founded in her honor.
Well, speaking of
It
big,
disbanded in 2001 with reported debts of up to $1 million US.
yeah, Steve A. We should have got him on the show. He could have given us an insight. Yeah,
In
got those
2000
fucking bikes off him.
in 2012, a British investigation was launched into the former team. Why did they do that 11 years later with the allegations that the team management did not organise doping but knew of several riders doping and turned a blind eye?
Oh, right.
Righty, yeah.
In other news, GCN folding. That's big
Yeah,
cycling news.
it's sad, eh?
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Real
But I
shit.
don't understand it because they were just growing so fast. I don't see how they weren't. I don't see
Yeah, so
like
what it
that's
is
clearly like
it's a strategic play from above. So
Mm.
who are they owned by? Warner Brothers, is it?
Yeah.
Or so
Warner
then
Brothers
they
Discovery.
Disney.
No, Warner
Discovery.
Brothers Discovery.
So they're wanting to
Oh.
then grow that one-stop brand to do like a sports chain. And so I'd say it's all going to filter through that because you're seeing that Netflix Sports is becoming a thing now. And so Warner Brothers will be just keeping it under the one banner rather than having little offshoots.
All of those companies are doing that. They're starting to streamline. They're starting to like put everything online in one place.
Hub. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why can't GCN just exist as its own thing and not need to be linked to one of these? Why can't
Well, it's
GCN
owned by them.
just literally go, all right, we're taking every person, every because it was a great it was a absolutely awesome. It was the best thing that's happened for cycling production in years or ever. But why can they not just take that, transplant it outside of the umbrella of one of these massive companies and just run it as a independent organization?
Because they're wanting your eyeballs just to be fixed to one central location. So if you're going to see cycling whilst you're
No,
there,
but why
you
can't
might,
GCN? Why can't the
Because they don't.
because it's
they're
owned by
owned.
Warner
why
It's
Brothers.
Warner
can't-
Brothers.
So Warner Brothers are going to be
Yeah, okay.
saying, well, why
Just
do we
call it
want?
something else?
Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't
but they
matter what it's
wanted
called.
they
It's
want you
owned by
to
them.
get lost in the woods of other Warner Brothers shit whilst you're looking for cycling. So that whilst you're there, you go, "Ooh."
So
how's
what
this
you
new
mean
series for-"
specifically, George, is why don't the people from GCN quit their jobs at
Yeah,
GCN
start-
/ Warner Brothers and start something new?
Yeah, because it was clearly successful. I mean, I can't think that it wasn't unprofitable.
Well,
No
I don't
idea,
know.
but
You'd
yeah.
have to look under the hood. But
yeah,
everyone's
it was
clamping down everywhere.
It's a shame because I mean, I guess we have to wait and see what the next product's going to be or what it's going to turn out to be like under this new platform, whether it's Eurosport or Discovery Plus or whatever it is. But it's a shame because GCN was a bloody good
I think the
platform, wasn't
YouTube
it?
channel's going to stay. So
The best
we're
thing
not gonna
about
lose that.
GCN racing was the amount of racing they showed.
Everything.
Like, okay, you don't have to search too far to. Okay, so Eurosport shows the Tour de France and all that stuff. Again, Eurosport is under the Warner Brothers banner as well. It's all part of the same company. But like, you could always find those big races on other platforms. If you lived in New Zealand, you could watch it on Sky Sports. If you lived in Australia, you could watch it on channel, I don't know, SBS or whatever you use in Australia. But GCN was like so good because it showed every single race basically. And like it's even in like as a sports director, like it was so handy because you could have it on in the car, so you could follow along with the race, no matter what race you're at. So yeah.
Weirdly, except for Tour de Suisse, like for some reason, Tour de Suisse was the one race a year you just couldn't watch on GCN.
Yeah, I remember you saying that actually. You're right. Yeah, I don't know why.
It was real rare. I had no
Maybe
idea
they
what was going on.
didn't have the
you just
rights
couldn't
in
watch it.
Spain or something,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a good organization. I did a documentary with them last year. With
Mitch.
Mitch Docker. Yeah.
Well, it'd be hitting Mitch hard because he was doing heaps of content with him.
Yeah, he was. He's just done another one recently in the Ghent 6 Day. I guess that's going to be his last one. But no, it was fun. It was good people to work with. They produced good content. Like outside of the live racing, they had those cool documentaries and all those things on the GCN platform. So yeah,
What's the
sorry to hear.
Israel
Sorry.
Premier Text content plan next year, boys? They're going to really sort of milk this new Kiwi 1-2 punch, couple of characters.
We got a few Kiwis. We got 3 Kiwis, don't we?
You should know.
Yeah, I should.
We've got 2.
No,
2
we got-
riders and you.
Yeah, 3.
We got Nicky
3.
Strobel joining the force as well. The chef,
Yeah,
Andy Gerrans, Imps.
got a good crew.
Yeah,
Imps. Yeah,
Phoebe.
yeah, we got a good Antipodean
nuclear.
nuclear. Yeah, no, it's good. We got our first training camp next week. Actually, starts on Wednesday next week. So
Now-
George will come in to meet the crew.
It's a good talking point. You're at that point of your career now, George, where you can reflect on many training camps. If you were running the show? 1, do you need to do a training camp? And 2, if you're going to run one, what's the ideal mix for everyone involved? Riders, staff, team culture. Like,
Well, they've started
how do you
well
do it?
by putting it at a golf course.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's good.
we're already off to a flyer. So we basically, I think from understanding, you get up, hit the range, maybe do a bit of riding, come home, play 9.
Well, no,
Couple of meetings.
it's normally you get up, you do a quick range session pre-breakfast because it's like it's getting close to down under now, so you want to start getting the metabolism burning. So instead of doing like a roller session before breakfast, you do like a bit of a range session, just get the metabolism going, just to help. Go and have breakfast, and then there's actually 2 courses there. So we play 18 in the morning, come in for lunch, and we play 18 in the arvo. That's how it goes. It's a good camp.
And how many days you got?
I think we're there for 6 weeks playing golf. That's what I told Hannah. 6-week camp.
Yeah,
No,
just
it's
heading out for milk.
it's 9 days or something, 10 days.
Oh, that's a long one.
No, I think
Yeah, it's a-
training camps, the key is to like, it depends what time of year it is. You know, like if you're setting up in December, it's not crucial. But like if you're in season, the thing is to like avoid big groups because you end up just faffing about in the wheels.
Yeah.
You know. But at UAE, we took it to the extreme. So we'd be riding along like 2 by 2, you know, and you'd be riding every 20 meters would be 2 UAE riders because it was like, you got to ride zone 2, you know. So it's like, and if any groups got too close to each other, the coach come past, he'd be like, separate. And you'd be like, have to give off like 20 meters because you didn't want the draft from the guy in front of you. So like, and sometimes we would like, I remember we were in Sierra Nevada and like Quick Step were there and they'd just be like riding past in this group, you know, Belgian style,
Horseback.
crystal cranks in the wheels. And then they'd just see like 2 UAE riders. Like, and like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
But it actually makes sense, you know. It's like if you don't want to be in the wheels, like okay, you don't need to go to the extreme of that. But like sometimes I remember my first training camps, you'd take the whole team and you just split it into 2 groups. So you'd have 2 bunches of like 15 riders. And you'd maybe pull 1 turn in the whole day because everyone's doing sort of 10-minute turns. By the time it got to you, you'd pull 10 minutes and then that was it, back in the wheels.
Do they still have the old school bills like the bonding night where you can just go, right, boys, we're getting on the cans. We're going to play a few little games just to get to know you.
Yeah. No, our team's really good with. I would say like, I mean, obviously the team's been going on a lot longer than I've been in it. I've only been in it for 1 year, but like it is really a culture driven team in a lot of ways, and they're like always looking for ways to continue to grow the culture and push the culture and all those sorts of things. So we will have like a fun day, like where we'll have, you know, everyone together, and that's what's kind of cool about this camp is that there's a shitload of people there. Like we basically take up a whole hotel, but we have so many like passionate owners and partners and stuff that want to come and like integrate with the team and spend time with the team, and that's a lot. I mean, obviously the primary focus in December is training, especially for the down under group. But then you have like, it's also a chance for like all the riders to meet the owners, to integrate with the owners a little bit, like, and like have a night with everybody together, like a fun dinner, like a quiz or like whatever, you know, a few different bits and pieces like that. So it's quite a good camp in that sense. Get everyone out on the range, like George says. Laugh at the people who can't hit a golf ball, which is, you'd be surprised, man, how many people can't hit a golf ball. Like, Not like hit a golf ball well. I mean, just hit a golf ball. It's
Isn't
insane.
it funny among blokes? Like if you go to a group environment like that and you see a guy that can't swing to save himself, automatic questions start being asked.
Mm.
Like, what's this bloke's up
Actually, I've
to?
got a couple of golf stories for you, Jonesy. I'm going to blow smoke up my own ass for a couple of minutes here, guys. So bear with me.
Yeah.
First thing is we went on a golf trip at the end of the season. So that was about 6 weeks ago now. We organised a 3-day golf trip, 5 of us.
Yeah.
And we went to this golf resort, like just out of hour out of Girona. Stayed a couple of nights there, played 3 rounds. I had an eagle, my first ever eagle, on
Jeez.
a par 5. Obviously, it's obviously the easiest holes to eagle on. But this is how I got the eagle. Top the drive off the tee, 60 meters,
Yeah.
a 500 meter par 5,
Yeah.
sorry. Duff the drive, 60 meters into the fucking trees. I was like, oh, this is going to be a shithole.
Yeah.
Stuck behind a tree. I was like, oh, I'm just going to have to lay up. I laid up with a 6 iron. Had a pretty decent 6 iron back in the middle of the fairway, 215 meters from the green, 3 wood in the hole.
You're joking.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And did you
Oh,
see
mate.
it drop in, or did you see the whole
saw it
thing
drop.
pan out?
Yeah. Saw it drop in.
Oh, what was the
I've just-
reaction?
Oh, I ran
Drop the
215
pants and do a
meters,
nudie
fucking
run. Yeah.
19 seconds. I broke the world record. Pulled the ball out of the hole.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then went on to shoot 100. And then...
And how many times did you hear about that shot, George? How many?
Mate,
people do you
that's
reckon
all
you
I've
told?
heard. Every time I see him, he's like, "Oh, do you know I got an eagle?" And then
Yeah,
next
yeah.
story, he's also going to tell you he shot 84 the other day, and that's all he's
Yeah.
thinking about getting a tattoo that says 84 on it, and then with
Shot
an
84.
eagle.
Shot
He's
84
going to get
last
like
week,
an eagle,
Jonesy.
like a massive eagle
That's
tattoo on his
awesome.
back, like a big American
Hey,
eagle
but
with
hang
84
on,
in the
84.
middle.
What course? Not that par 3
Pitch
one
and
you
putt.
played.
Yeah,
what,
par
4?
3 course.
Yeah.
No. I played at the Rocker Village, actually, down by Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a good course. Yeah.
Shit, mate. All those
All right,
all
there
those
you go.
days.
Lost about 500 listeners in the last 5 minutes. So
Well, where are those famous golf clubs of mine? That's like an orphan.
George's
my
George's
garage.
got them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I've been
Well, there
through
you
a
go.
few people. So they went
Oh
through me
yeah.
to Novi, and then they went now George's inherited them from
Luke.
Novi. So
Oh,
well, Durbo had
oh.
them for a while. Yeah, Durbo had them for a while. And
Yeah.
then did he? I can't remember. He had a few of the clubs at least.
Well,
And
speaking of
now,
Nobby, I see he's sports director with Bora next year.
Yeah.
Have you given him some tips or what?
No, he seems to be going well. He's been getting into his meetings. He's a hard-nosed man. He just, you know what Novi's like.
Yeah.
I was on this call with this fucking young prick the other day. He fucking whinging and moaning about his race program. I said, well, fucking show me you deserve a better one, mate.
Because it's not as if he's not intimidating enough for a young bloke
Yeah.
with this big mullet, 8-day growth. Yeah.
It's
You'd be
pretty
shitting
funny.
yourself.
Yeah. No, he's good. He's
Uh,
going to training camp as well next week, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, in other sports, just wrapping things up, I jumped on the Tottenham Hotspurs bandwagon when they were
Oh,
undefeated and thought, I'm going all out. I ordered like a Sun jersey, the works. Ever since I've ordered that jersey, they haven't won a game.
and who's top
Wheels are
now?
full off. Who is it?
Arsenal, baby.
Uh,
Yeah. Arsenal
yeah.
and Tottenham are like, it's going to make the show interesting going forward. If you're a Tottenham fan, my dad's a Tottenham supporter actually.
Is he?
Yeah, but Tottenham and Arsenal are like arch enemies.
Yeah.
North London.
That's it.
Mm.
Oh, well. Be interesting year, boys.
We
Going
went
to
to the game.
foosball.
Went to the Girona game the other day actually. They're
Who
top.
played
They're top of the league, top of La Liga.
what? In the main division?
Yeah,
How many games have they played?
14.
Jeez.
They
What
were
have they
2
got
points.
new signings?
They were 2 points clear. Now they're like equal with Real Madrid.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Have they upgraded the stadium yet, or is it still?
it's still tiny. They put a few like makeshift stands up, but it's like 13,000 people. So
They put a couple of dick
it's pretty
chairs in
funny.
down the bottom.
Yeah, because there's still a long way to go. There's still another 34 games to go in the season. But like, let's say they finish top 4, that means they're in Champions League next year.
Champions League. Yeah.
Like they could be playing like PSG or like Bayern or someone like that. Like in
And
this
there's
sort of
something, there's a rule like
circumstance.
your stadium has to be able to hold like a minimum capacity, so they're just cramming people in.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
what the minimum capacity is though. It can't be that big.
Don't know.
Because like some of these stadiums, like you look at some of the Premier League teams like Luton Town, who's in Premier League now, first time in about I don't know how many years ever, maybe. They're like there's like you walk through someone's backyard to get into the stadium. It's like real famous. What's that called, Hannah? That's Luton Town. You know when you walk through that guy's house to get into the stadium, it's next level.
What do you mean you walk through his front yard? Like through his
Pretty much. It's called
entrance?
like something stand, and it's like some dude's house.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. The Luton
Yeah,
fans
good
out there will
stuff.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What else has been happening in the cycling world? Not much. It's been quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
really been paying attention.
Van Aert's
It's
going to
always
Giro, GC.
Is he?
Well, that's a rumour.
I hope they do another series of the Netflix show next year. You guys would be
Yeah,
involved, wouldn't you?
well, well, Jumbo's done Amazon, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
They did an
We need
Amazon
to
series.
we need to get a doco up and running for Israel Premier Tech. All right,
Should.
leave it with us. Oh, and the show us up close your mo, George. How long you been growing that thing for?
28 days. It's the best I can do, boys.
Not bad. You didn't even trim your bloody beard bills to go with the handlebars.
I've had a lot going on. How's the Movember page going actually, Jonesy?
Yeah, I've raised $330.
That's
So
all right.
if anyone could jump on and donate, and a big thanks to the people that have. There was a guy, remember the guy I was saying who blanked me when I was with Mitch at the Worlds last year? He donated $100.
Yeah, nice.
So
So he's donated a third of your
yeah,
tokens?
yeah. He's been a big support. So we'll post the link so people can get on and one last throw up the pegs.
We've got one more day. The
Yeah.
time this goes out will
Right.
be December.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good.
Speaking of other things that get around, Aussies, mate, world champions, never in doubt.
How's the arrogance of it, eh? Like just absolutely shit canned through like the bottom of the table after about 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then wake up final morning. Oh, it's final on, is there?
Yep.
Boomfa, let's go out and absolutely. For me, okay, as much as it hurts me to say, that might be one of the greatest. Sort of, you never think Aussies underdogs, but in terms of like the dominance of India in that World Cup, for Australia to get up against them at home is almost one of the greatest victory, like one of the most against the odds wins, especially in a final at home in India.
No, I reckon it's just a statistical thing. I don't reckon it matter who they played. Like at a certain point, if you win 9 games in a row, like the more games you win in a row, the closer you get to losing a game.
I don't know. I don't believe that. Like, there's no like people. I remember this when the Warriors were playing. Everyone's like, "Oh no, they've won 8 in a row. They've got to lose one. They've got to lose one." And it's like, well, it's like it's like this is like my theory with roulette. If you've done the gambling thing where it's not that we condone gambling, but the idea of going like right. But have you ever played the tactic where you run
wait for a run of 5 and bet
red and black
against it
on the roulette, right?
Yeah.
No, see, this is where it's wrong. So what you do is you always bet the same color, no matter what. And then so let's say you bet €5 and you lose. Then you have to bet €10 and you lose. Then you have to bet €20 and you lose. And eventually you can't,
It'll
as long
come
as you
up.
double, you always get your money back, right?
Mm.
But it's like the oldest shittest theory in the world. But like tables have limits and then you can't bet it back in. But anyway, the probability each time, it's such a strange thing with
It's the
probability
same.
because the probability
Every
each time
single roll is
is still
individual.
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then if you go, what's the combined probability of 10 of them in a row being, red, then it's far less. But each time it's still 50-50. It's like the whole thing if you have a game show and they say to you like, right, there's a car behind one of these doors, and then they say we're going to take out one of these doors, and you pick a door, and they say, okay, we're going to take out one that it's not in, and there's 2 doors left. Do you switch your answer? And probability wise, yes, you definitely should, because it's 50-50 as opposed to 33 when you took your original decision. So you actually increase your probability by swapping the doors.
Because like in roulette, there's no reason why, because like you say, every single roll is individual. There's no reason why it can't land on red for eternity, every roll.
Yeah.
But the law of probability is that it won't.
That's right.
Just like
So,
there's no reason why
it
India couldn't win 10 in a row.
Well, the funny thing with that is, like, when Pat Cummins came back to the Australian airport, there was one young child to greet him to ask for an autograph. That was about it. Couple of media, done. Yeah.
Really?
And yeah. And then the Indians were saying, what a disgrace, like, what a homecoming. It's true. And then they had Travis Head, who'd been on a 3-day bender, and they had to rest him for the first T20. They're like, mate, sit this one out.
String injury.
Yeah, that's it.
Dance
And
floor injury.
last one from me, boys. I remember a couple of years ago, I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I've just been accepted to go on Tipping Point.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm going on the 19th of December.
What's
You
that?
love a game show, eh?
It's like that one. It's in the UK.
Yeah.
These little counters where you press the button and it falls down, and then it pushes them on like this table, and every counter's worth like $50. And you can win if you get through the final round. There's like a counter worth 10 grand, and if you get that with the ×2 counter, you win 20 grand. So I'm going all the way.
So
I've
you
always
have to
wondered who
answer
applies
questions
on
first,
game
no?
shows.
Yeah. You want to know how to?
No, just like who. I'm always interested in the psyche of the person that applies for a game show. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. These people just are on game shows. I've never it's not something I've ever encountered in my life. Like people trying to get on game shows. It's just I turn on TV sometimes and there's people on there, and it's never been something that I've come across. Like, oh, I'm going to try and get on there. So what? Like are you looking at
what's
it
the
and then you go,
process?
right, I want to be on that?
I watched Tipping Point for ages, particularly during lockdown, 3:00 routine. And I thought if it ever comes to Australia, I'm going on that because I love the claw machines at the just in case you didn't know what they were, I'll do the hand signal at the arcades. And I thought, well, it's the closest thing I got to that, but I could win some cabbage as well. And they go, I think the Aussie one, they're going for more pub trivia vibe. So that's right in my wheelhouse. It's
Did you have
hosted
to
by
do an
Todd
audition?
Woodbridge. Yeah, you had to get on Zoom, and I gave the same story because they sort of vet you to see, is this guy a character? And I gave the same story as I did to get on Millionaire Hot Seat. And they go, okay, guys, we're going to go around the room, and when it comes on you, just introduce yourself, what you do, why you like Tipping Point. I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. So then it came to me, and I said, hey, guys, my name's Dan. I work in sort of sports media, but before that is probably more of an interesting story. And I told them about how I was sacked from the toothpaste factory. They loved it. And then they go, oh, what happened? I go, stuffed up a batch of home brand, and it's about 50 grand worth, and they tested it and it come up with like no reading, but they said stuff it, it's home brand, we'll pump it into the tubes. So 50,000 tubes across Australia just like pissed on their toothbrush. Got massive laughs, and then you see the girl like writing something. She must be going like, "Fucking get this bloke on." And then I got an email literally an hour after the audition, like, "Hey, just let us know dates you're not available." And I just gave her a few dates, but I got the kids and that, and then they came back and rang me yesterday and said, "Yeah, like we got you in on the 19th." They said you can bring a crowd. I said, "Is it hosted by Todd Woodbridge?" And then she said, "Yes, it is." So I'll do a bit of research on his background, see if I can come up with any banter to give him some stick. She goes, "Oh yeah, that'd be great. He'd love that. He loves banter."
Jesus.
Yeah. So tipping point, boys. I'll get the highlights of my performance. So hopefully I can win
toothbrush-
20 grand.
That toothpaste story has got you to your bread and butter story, eh?
Bread and butter. Well, it's either that. I couldn't really tell the story about the toilet incident on the train. It's probably not as appropriate.
No. And it's actually not as funny.
Nah.
The best one is
Although-
the toothpaste. When you leave the toothpaste fraction, your car doesn't start. You got to go back
Yeah,
in for a jump.
No, push. They all pushed me out the door in lab coats. So 4 or 5 of them.
For
There's
those new
another-
listeners who haven't heard the toothpaste story, go back. I don't know. Just go through every single episode and you'll find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then while you're there,
Well, it
go. I
was-
think it was around this time 2 years ago we told the story on the train.
George just midway through a conversation just goes, "All right, boys."
Yeah. Well, that.
All right. I'm at my limit.
All right.
Cut it off.
Righto. And then what they don't see is what George says off air. And it's, I'd say he's paying $1.40 to say as soon as we stop recording, guys,
Yeah.
don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I think
Spin
we
it.
just spin it. Just spin
It's
it.
actually an interesting piece of information for the return listeners. Basically, what happens before every show is George goes, "Fuck, I got nothing, man. I fucking got nothing." And then Jonesy reassures him by saying, "None of us do. We never do. When have we ever prepared for a show? Don't worry, it'll be okay." And then we sort of stumble our way through a show. Admittedly, I'll give a point to George here that it's much harder in the off season because there's almost no cycling content to talk about. So it's always a little bit more daunting this time of year. Then we sort of fumbled our way through a show talking about whatever we just spoke about. And then at the end of the show, George goes, "Oh, was that all right? Was that shit? Should we just do it again?" Or and then Jonesy goes, "Nah, it's fine.
I say just
Don't worry
delete it.
about it."
I just say just fucking bin it.
Just spin it.
Don't we have some sponsor stuff we
shit.
need to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have to do a
Yeah.
reading, don't we?
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
let's do that then. We'll do it off air.
Good
Alright.
stuff.
All right. Well, that was a good show, guys.
Thanks
What do you
for
think,
tuning
George?
in.
Keep it?
Keep it or
Yeah,
bin
we'll
it.
throw that
It's
in
like
bin.
Gladiator.
Well, it doesn't matter because we're going to bin this. So,
All right.
well, why are we doing the reading?
All right, like, share, subscribe.